interesting, Boris. Most interesting. What a wonderful book about Halloween. It has spells and rituals and decoration hints. That's always a good idea, especially this time of year. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Monster Movie Night. I'm your internet horror host, Bobby Gammonster, creepio curator of Gargoyle Manor, the Monster Museum. Welcome, one and all. You may have noticed that I was reading up on a book called Halloween. It's a wonderful read, and of course, this time of year, we've got to get ready for it, right, Boris? I mean, we've just got to find the right kind of decorations to put on the inside as well as the outside. I mean, some people say that, well, Gargoyle Manor is decorated all year round. Well, we may be, but as far as it goes, we like to put a little extra dough-dabbing, as they say down here in the South. Right, Boris? Are you ready for Halloween? It's not that long. It's not even, maybe 2-3 weeks away. And it seems like it was only just yesterday. It was a whole year. Anyway, I've got so much to do, so many things, and we have to plan for, well, tonight's film feature for you guys out there. I know you just didn't come to see my pretty mug, as it was. Well, maybe Boris's, but anyway, I know you come to see the feature film. And of course, we're not going to let you down. Tonight's feature film is called Web of the Spider. Now, Web of the Spider was a remake of the Castle of Blood that we showed last year around this time. And Castle of Blood, of course, had Barbara Steele. Now, this one has a lot of interesting and wonderful actors and actresses in it. To start off with, it has Klaus Kinski. Now, you may recognize him as Nosferatu in 1979 and other such horror films as that. Well, we also have Anthony or Tony Franciosa and Michelle Mercier. Well, the film was made by Antonio Marghetti. Now, he also did Castle of Blood, but, you know, he thought, as all directors do, when they make it the first time, they think, I can do better than that. Right, Boris? You've heard me say that many, many times. Unfortunately, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But tonight's film works wonderfully for this time of year. I mean, The Web of the Spider. It's loosely based on an Edgar Allan Poe story. So, let's get started here while I get started here with some of the decorating for our wondrous and wonderful holiday Halloween. So let's tune into the old internet haunted TV and see if we can't find it.
Mama tell you not to turn on the TV at night. How dare you? I've been watching you.
The servant entered the library, and he was staring like a madman, and he spoke to me in a voice that was trembling and suffocated. He stood there straining his terror-blocked vocal cord into producing some semblance of speech. He was desperately trying to tell me something, but I couldn't really understand it. I could only catch bits of what he was trying to say. He mentioned something about a mad scream which had pierced the silence of the night. The gathering together of the entire household. And now they all rushed to the spot where the screaming sound had come. And now they had searched and had found the place. And at this moment, his voice became frighteningly clear. And he went on to talk about a violated tomb. A body wrapped in a sudarium, horribly disfigured, but still breathing, still palpitating, still alive. Still alive. The servant just stood there, and suddenly he was pointing at my clothes. They were covered with mud. And intermingled with the mud, there were spots of fresh blood. Still wet and sticky. The servant then came toward me and very gently took my hand like this. He pulled me closer and I looked at the hand. The flesh had been torn. It was covered with deep human fingernail scratches. And suddenly he turned his attention to an object against the wall and stared at it for some time. It was a shovel. A blood-stained shovel. Realization came to me, and with a shout, I reached across the table and grabbed the box that was lying there. But I was unable to open it. In my eagerness, the box slipped from my trembling hands and fell to the floor, shattering in pieces. And all at once, I was aware that there on the floor were the 32 magnificent teeth of my dear cousin, Bernice. Those same teeth that had obsessed me during her illness right up to the time of her death, 6 months before the night of my story.
Mr. Poe. Mr. Poe. Mr. Poe, it's Alan. It's Alan Foster. How do you do, sir? You know, I've read that story of yours, but hearing you tell it, it sounds real.
Oh, yes. Yes, I recognize you now. From your voice. May I introduce you to Lord
Blackwood. Oh, how do you do, sir?
I invited him here especially for you.
Oh, really, sir?
You know, this Alan Foster, the American reporter I told you about. Been following me around like a hound for an interview. What he's going to write about, I have no idea. Probably going to talk badly about me.
Oh, well.
They always do.
I admit I have been following you, Mr. Poe. But one thing should be reasonably obvious. I wouldn't have to come all the way to London just to say bad things about you, sir.
Well, this is my first visit to England, and it'll definitely be my last.
Why is that? Has England disillusioned you?
Well, first, let me explain that I'm not a novelist, but a reporter like you. Everything that I've written to date actually...
But, Mr. Poe, you have revealed in your stories that death is only the beginning of something. But that's against the facts. Certainly everything ends. Life finishes at the very point of death. And there's nothing after death. Nothing.
You're confusing the tomb with death, Mr. Foster.
What do you mean?
Whiskey, sir.
Thank you. I don't understand.
No, of course not.
Your health, sir.
The slab of marble which closes the tomb gives us the certainty of that tomb. But what of the other tombs that are populated by a great number of living beings unofficially?
But you can't possibly believe that. I mean, it's just not possible.
I beg to differ. I'm willing to wager £100 that you don't have the courage to spend a night in my castle at Providence. Alone.
Are you saying that I'd flee with terror?
No, you wouldn't flee. Of all those who have tried, and Mr. Poe well knows this, no one has ever come out of the castle afterwards.
It's a pity, but I can't take on your wager. I'm sorry.
Well, you're a very wise young man. I've heard a great deal of this Providence Castle and was seriously thinking of writing about it.
You see, I've asked Mr. Poe to find me a courageous man in the hope that he could put an end to this terrible legend. But you're a likable young man, and I'm glad that you can't accept the wager.
It's not that I don't want to, just that I don't have £100.
You mean you would be disposed for £10?
Yes, certainly. Whenever you'd like me to.
Tonight, then. Could be you'll have an adventure which will convince you that I do not tell stories of pure fantasy. Tonight it is.
All right. Tonight it is.
If it's to be tonight, we must go at once. The castle's some distance away. It's at least a 2-hour drive.
Thank you.
Do you mind if we continue our discussion during the drive? The interview, I mean.
Thank you. If it's that important to you, we can, by all
It
means.
is. I have many questions I want to clear up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night, Mr. Poe, sir, your lordship.
Good night.
This, may give you courage.
I don't need to
Take it.
Oh. Does it have bullets?
Of course.
Mr. Pope, why is it that most of your characters, many of your characters, lose their sanity and often their lives?
It's very simple, Mr. Foster. Because of the expanded consciousness. When one is so completely terrified, it is too much for the soul to take. And the resulting transition makes, to my mind, one of the most interesting subjects to write about.
We're there, Mr. Foster. You still have time to change your mind and return with us.
Oh, no, not on your life. And anyway, we've got 10 pounds on this, and I want it. And besides, as Mr. Poe very well knows, we Americans don't believe in ghosts.
Perhaps that's because you're still a young nation.
Perhaps. And perhaps it's because we don't have castles.
No, because youth feels itself immortal.
Yes, you may have a point there.
We shall return tomorrow at dawn. Here's the key to the door.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, sir. Oh, Mr. Poe, I hope we can continue this interview tomorrow. With your permission, I mean.
First thing in the morning. Good luck.
Well, see you in the morning.
Oh, I forgot.
What?
You'll find torches in the stables at the end of the garden.
At the end of the garden. Thanks.
And notice you did nothing to dissuade him. Fellow countryman, too.
A protagonist is essential to any new story.
That must have been a good spirit. Good night.
Drive us home, Alistair.
See you at dawn. just a coincidence.
Good evening. You thought that I was just a painting, didn't you? Were you sent here by my brother?
If Lord Blackwood is your brother, yes. My name is Alan Foster.
And I am Elizabeth Blackwood Dollister.
I'm most terribly sorry. But your brother told me that the castle was uninhabited.
Oh, well, that's because, you see, as far as he is concerned, I'm dead.
Dead?
He never wanted to see me again. After I had deserted his world to search for a happiness which unfortunately I never found.
Didn't you ever try for a reconciliation?
No. You see, I have remained here for a long time now.
Well, perhaps I'd better leave.
Does finding me here upset you?
No. It's just that... Well, it's just that the wager takes on a different aspect.
I see. The wager my dear brother likes to make. To give credence to the fantastic tales circulating about this castle. Well, it won't make you that much richer, but I'll help you to play a trick on my brother. Now come with me. I've prepared a room upstairs for you.
Wait a minute. You knew I was coming here? I'll get the candle. Look at that.
At what?
The portrait, the painting. Oh, it's nothing. It must have been the flickering candlelight. It's playing tricks on me again.
What are you talking about?
It's just that the portrait suddenly seemed to come to life, that's all. I assume it's one of your ancestors.
No. Julia is not a Blackwood. You'll meet her shortly. She'll return soon enough. Up here you'll find things in better order. Your room's this way. You see, unfortunately, I have no servants now, so I've had to neglect the rooms downstairs. Tell me, what's happening in the world outside?
Oh, nothing but the traditional foolishness. But I'd much rather talk about you. It's been a long time since I've met such loveliness.
You're very kind. I'm flattered.
No, really, it's the truth. A beauty like yours is very rare indeed.
For a long time, I haven't felt myself a woman as I feel now with you. Now, please, tell me something about yourself.
There's nothing much really to tell, except that I'm American, a bachelor, a creative writer, and sometimes a journalist. about it. Oh, and no romantic attachments. I'm quite alone.
I, too, am alone, Alan. Desperately alone.
Can I be of company to you?
Ah, you must be Julia. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you in person.
I see Elizabeth has spoken to you about me.
Yes, she has, as a matter of fact.
And what did she tell you about me?
I told him your name. And nothing more.
Do you think I should thank you for your discretion?
No. I think that you would have done better to stay away.
Why? Am I by chance disturbing you?
Oh, no, no. I mean, we were just having a chat before going to bed.
Oh, I see.
Julia!
Oh, pardon me. I didn't mean what Elizabeth imagined. She obviously thought that I was inferring that you would be going to bed.
That's enough. Good night, Mr. Foster.
I think it's best if I bid you good night myself. Even if now it won't be for you.
Really, I don't quite know what you mean.
Oh, don't you, Alan?
No, I don't. How did you know my name is Alan?
I heard Elizabeth mention it just as I was entering the room. Good night, Alan.
I'm sorry. Your brother gave me this. I'm terribly sorry. Excuse me.
I wondered if you were sleeping. I'm sorry for what happened.
You mean Julia?
Yes.
No need to apologize. I'd forgotten all about it. I was just reading. Please, won't you come in?
Are you sure I'm not disturbing you?
I'm positive.
Then, do you mind if I stay here and keep you company for a while?
Mine? It would be my pleasure.
I couldn't sleep. Would you like a drink?
Why, yes, thank you, I would.
I have some excellent whiskey. This bottle was left here by a previous guest. I hope you like it.
Yes, I do. It's excellent.
Thomas. Are you interested in medicine?
Yes. At least I was at one time. It was my father's influence. He wanted me to follow in his footsteps.
This is heavy reading. Let me select a better one.
No. Don't go. Don't go, please. Stay here next to me. I want you close to me where I can look at you. Your eyes. How I would love to read what's written in your eyes, Elizabeth.
What is written in my eyes, Alan?
I can't answer you now. I don't know yet.
I'll tell you. Kiss me. Hold me tight. Take me. That's what's written. I'm yours, Alan. Yours. I never delude anyone I like. And I like you very much. Even for a moment. Let me feel the warmth of your body. Yes. Kiss me. Yes. Oh, yes. You make me feel alive. You do, my love. You do. I feel alive in your arms. I feel alive only when I'm loved.
Julia. Where are you going?
Stay out of it, please. It's none of your business.
Oh, but it is. I love her still. Leave her alone.
And why should I? Why should she always treat me this way? Herbert must be informed, and right away.
I'm afraid we met too late, my love.
What matters is that I've found you. We must never leave each other, my darling.
Words are easy, Alan. But I'm destined to remain here. And you have your work outside.
I'm going to take you with me, Elizabeth.
That's impossible. It would be much easier for you to remain here.
Elizabeth? Elizabeth? Elizabeth!
Yes, Alan?
No, it's nothing. I thought for a moment... I thought for a moment that your heart wasn't beating.
No, Herbert! Not him!
No! Elizabeth. Elizabeth!
Impossible. It's impossible.
Hold on tight. Take me. I never delude anyone I like. Let me feel the warmth of your body. Yes. Kiss me. Yes.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
Well, that's wonderful. We'll put that on the outside of the door to greet to the little kiddies when they come in at the end of the month for Halloween. Enjoying tonight's feature, my fiends? Well, tonight's feature was released originally on August 26, 1971, where it was distributed by a company called Panta Cinematografia. The film grossed a total of 232,442,000 Italian lira on its domestic release. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Well, it wasn't. Not in Italian money, at least. Later, it was released in West Germany, and it was called Dracula im Schlaf des Schreckens on March 16th of 1972. Later, in France, on February 8th of 1978, it was released as Les Fantômes de Herlevent. That's as close as I can get to it. Well, those was interesting facts. But you know, tonight we're preparing the old manor for Halloween. And you know, haunted houses, the type that this fellow here is going into and seeing ghosts, it makes you wonder about them. So I went into the old library and I found a couple of books. This one's called More Haunted Houses. Well, you can't have too many of those, and it's a great read. Need a magnifying glass, especially when you get to my age. Oh, it's got a wonderful picture of Anton LaVey and, oh, who is this? Well, I know her, and she's a famous actress. She accidentally got her head lobbed off in a car accident. Well, you can look her up. There's a lot of interesting stories here inside the book. There's another one called, what do we have here? Ghost Stories from the American South. Well, that's where we're at, right, Boris? The old American South. And this has lots of wonderful old stories. If I can see it, I may have to get the magnifying glass. But no, it's under the contents, it's called Haunted Houses, Other Haunted Places, Headless and Screaming, that's a favorite of mine, Ghosts and Hidden Treasures, that's not too bad, Traveling Ghosts, Malevolent Ghosts, Witches, Banshees, Bloodstoppers, Ghostly Lights, and Supernatural Creatures. Wow, that is a good read right there. And it also gives me ideas for Halloween night. As well as, look, a couple books here, The Pagan Mysteries of Halloween. You know, of course, you can't have Halloween without the pagan mysteries. A little bit of horn god and the moon goddess, you know, coming out, dancing around under the moonlight, greeting all the spirits and the folks. Of course, we have Jack Samhain, or as he's called, or Samhain, coming out and using his jack-o'-lanterns. Speaking of which, I've got a few here that are really old, and I love bringing them out every year and putting them up. This is a nice one here that looks like a little witch hat and on a stack of hay. It's a glow mold. You don't get these kind anymore like they used to. And of course, this is a newer type here that lights up when you hook it up to electricity. He's a little bit more whimsical. And okay, let's see if I can get, there's just so many of them here of all sizes. Come here, you. Come here, you. This one looks like he might have rotted a little bit too much. Ooh, yes, he is a scary one. Very cool, very cool. And we'll put him up here as well so that we can put him on the outside. And, oh yes, speaking of, well, larger and smaller size, come here, you. Whoops. Trying to get away from me, aren't you? Well, you'll not succeed. Many have tried and many have not done so. As you can see, this one's a good size one here. Aha, he's got just the right type of spooky face, and he lights up as well, so he'll be very nice to show the way to Gargoyle Manor so that you may come in for some treats, maybe a few tricks along the way. Plus, we have the ultimate jack-o'-lantern carrying candy case. You can see it's got lots of room, and you can put all kinds of treats inside of this, not to mention heads, hearts, internal organs, things like that. You know, the regular stuff that people gives out around Halloween, yeah? Well, let's get to decorating with some of these, and let's get you back to tonight's feature, Web of the Spider.
Elizabeth! Where are you? Elizabeth! Where are you? It's impossible.
Everything is possible on this particular night.
Who are you? Where's Elizabeth? Tell me where she is. Where is she?
Calm down. She will return. Soon.
I must find out where Elizabeth is. She's been hurt. Tell me where Elizabeth is, will you?
You must relax your nerves. Come. I can understand how you feel, Mr. Foster. Your name is Foster, isn't it?
How do you know my name?
I heard you talking to Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Did you say you heard me talking to Elizabeth?
I heard it all. I know everything.
but there was no way that I could intervene. But I see you're quite upset. Perhaps you need a good, strong drink. I have a reserve of that excellent whiskey that you like so much.
I don't know who you are, sir, but you seem to be an excellent voyeur.
I am Dr. Carmus.
Who?
I'm sure, Mr. Foster, that you are aware of my books on the subject of metaphysical medicine.
Yes, I've read your books, but I thought you had disappeared. I heard you were...
Dead?
Yes.
It would be more exact to say that I stopped living uselessly in a world which would not grant me the possibility of finishing my studies. Here's your drink, Mr. Foster. You have lived through a metaphysical experience, populated with people who do not pertain to your idea of time. Momentary apparitions, like that of Elizabeth. I imagine it must be a noteworthy experience for a journalist who is really a poet.
I'm sorry, Dr. Carmus, but now look, you can't convince me that Elizabeth was just an apparition, a figment of my imagination. I'm sorry. She's very much alive, Doctor, very much alive. I felt her body close to mine. I felt her sweetness. I felt her loveliness. Yes, indeed. She's really very much alive, Doctor, as I said.
Only because in that moment, she was living with the strength of her senses, which do not die so easily.
I don't understand what you mean.
In every human being, there are three forms of life. That of the body, which is the weakest. That of the spirit, which is indestructible. And that of the senses, which can continue for a long time after death. Especially when life is taken away in an act of violence. That is, in a particular moment when the senses are living an intense emotion. In other words, one does not die completely unless one is actually willing to die.
Your theory is completely absurd. Completely absurd.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Then I will demonstrate it, if you like. Don't. The unmated snake is very poisonous. At this moment, the snake's senses are tensed. In the violent effort of self-defense. You see, in theory, it should have died. In the same moment in which I struck the blow.
Mm-hmm. Doctor, I've conducted these experiments 1,000 times when I was a little boy with lizards. Their tails continued to wiggle for a while, and then... Look. You see? It has stopped living for good, Doctor. It is dead. It is gone. Forever.
But now try to pick up the head.
Sure.
Careful. The snake is dead. But its sense of defense continues to live.
But it doesn't last very long.
Of course not. The blood no longer circulates. A process of decomposition takes place, and even the sensory motors die. I came here to continue my studies on this theory, away from the rest of the world.
All right, all right. The theory may hold true as far as lower forms of life are concerned. But never human beings, Doctor. Never.
You are wrong, Mr. Foster. And I'll show you you're wrong. Come with me. Only Poe's demented mind could send you here on such a night. 2nd of November.
Dr. Carlos, how do you know about that? How do you know about Mr. Poe? Oh, just a moment. You've got to tell me what you know. Doctor, will you please tell me what you know? Tell me, please, will you? Doctor! Dr. Carmus, it's imperative you tell me exactly...
The hour has come. Words are now useless. Look.
Right. Elizabeth's parties are always good.
Oh, we can just
Such
get
fun.
along.
We had better return to the party, or our guests will think we've abandoned them.
This is too important a gift. Perhaps I don't deserve it.
Why might you not deserve it?
William, life here has been sad. You've been away so long. And I've been alone.
Well, now I'm back home again. And I'm staying home. You won't be alone again.
What a lovely necklace. It's splendid.
Something to pardon your long absence. Is that it, William?
Oh, how they sparkle. They're lovely. Thank you, my dear.
Shall we dance?
Yes.
Excuse us. Would you like a drink, darling?
Yes.
Our cloaks, please.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
Right.
Furious to see the way you carry on with him. Come outside.
Wait for me at the stable later. Now go away.
Ah, there you are, darling.
Do not fear. I was here to watch you.
Thank you, Julia. All these many months I've been away, you've so kindly looked after her. And now it is my turn to look after my wife.
Magnificent family portrait.
But you're leaving already?
Yes, William, I must go to London tonight. I have many matters to take care of in the morning, and I hate early rising.
I see.
You are no longer the famous hunter that gets up early in the morning. City life has changed you, hasn't it?
The honor of the hunt, I leave to you, my dear sister. Thank you for the splendid party and the pleasure of finally seeing you together again. William, try not to leave her alone too much.
I've sold all my estates in America. There's no real reason for me to travel now other than for pleasure. What do you say to a long cruise in the Mediterranean this spring? France, Italy, all of us together.
Not a bad idea. Come and see me in London soon, and we'll talk it over.
Good. We'll have lunch at my club. Let me see you to your carriage.
No, William. I'll go with them. You stay with the guests. I'll be back soon.
Allow me.
Good night, Margaret.
Good night, William.
Good night, Thomas. See you in London.
William, it's marvelous to have you in England again. How was your trip to America?
Oh, a little tedious at times, but nothing very much.
Ah, well, that's the important thing.
Goodbye, Elizabeth. Good night, Margaret.
Bye, Elizabeth. Have a good hunt tomorrow.
Yes, Tom.
Why are you avoiding me?
Are you crazy?
Come with me. I don't want you to return to that man.
Don't be a fool. He's my husband.
So what? You mustn't go back to him. You belong to me. You're mine now. Elizabeth, I've shown you what love really is. During the past few months we've been together.
He'll leave again soon. You'll see. Now let me alone.
No. You will stay here with me. I'll kill you if you go back to William.
Let me go.
All right, Elizabeth. You can go.
Oh.
What you have seen just now of the past is merely to prepare the scene. The real tragedy starts now. Follow me, Mr. Foster.
don't cry. You know how I hate to see you suffer. It's happened, and that's that. I despise you.
Carmus! 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 No use hiding. I know you're here. Where are you, Carmus? Carmus, where are you? Carmus, I know you're here in this house. You're here in this house. Come out! Carmus! Carmus, don't try to fool me. Come out. Where are you? Your phony books. I know you're in there, Carmus. Come out. Come out, Carmus. I know you're in there. I know you're in there. Carmus, open this door, will you? I'm going to get out of this house. Carmus? Carmus! Carmus! You know I'm standing right here in front of you, so talk to me, Carmus.
Welcome to Monster Movie Night. I'm your internet horror host, Bobby Gammonster, and this is my co-host, Boris T. Buzzard. Welcoming you to Gargoyle Manor, the Monster Museum, and our home. You will keep watching, won't you?
Carmus.
Convinced, Mr. Foster? Now you have seen why, and in what way I'm dead. Are you afraid? Come here. I want you to see for yourself. They're all buried down there. Buried, Mr. Foster.
Carlos? Carlos! Well?
Oh, Morris, it's marvelous to return to the castle. Our first night will be unforgettable.
A first night of love and of terror, if what Lord Blackwood says is true.
You won't leave me, will you? Not even
Don't
for a
talk, they'll hear
second?
you. No noise. Please don't.
Why? Are you afraid, Mrs. Burnley?
A little, but I'll just have to get used to it, won't I?
Don't you hear me? Don't you see me?
Well, if that's the case, you provocative...
No, don't.
I'm a girl.
No.
You cannot get away from me. You can't escape from me. You're in my castle, and I have the right of use primi not. So you want to get away, huh?
Yes, my lord, because I love another man.
Another man?
Yes, my lord. I love my Morris.
Hmm? Do you really love him very much?
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord, very much.
If you love him so much, why then did you kiss me
Because I crave for kisses like I do champagne. That reminds me, Morris. You promised we'd find a marvelous wine cellar here at our disposal.
Ah, that's true. And Lord Blackwood gave us the key. I'll run and fetch a bottle. No, don't leave her alone. Don't leave her alone. Come back.
We'll be back in a moment. Go away, or I'll scream.
Elsie! 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 No!
It's no use trying to run away.
This way, Alan. Follow me. Follow me.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth. Where are you? Garmus. No! No way! It's getting light. It's almost dawn.
The darkest hour is just before the dawn.
For you, it is too late.
You cannot escape.
Your fate is decided. We don't want to renounce this brief moment of life.
Stop! We need your blood, Foster.
Blood is life.
No! Your blood is our life.
Go away. Go away.
You cannot escape, Foster.
Why? Why?
Because we need you, Foster.
Your blood is our life.
Foster, we need it now.
Alan.
You?
Yes, Alan. Maybe I can manage to save you. Come with me.
Why? Why is this happening? What do they want from me?
The same thing I should want. Your life and blood. It's the only way to assure us. Another night of living. A year from now. Come on, Alan.
Elizabeth, I want to know how. If this is true, why should you help me?
I would like to be alive, Alan. But I love you and want you to return to that life which was denied me. Come. Run quickly. Go before it's too late. No, Alan. No. 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 Save yourself. Save yourself. They're coming, Alan. No. Once you get through the gate, you're free. First, you must get through the gate. Let go. Let go of me, Alan. Please. No. You don't understand. I'm dead. Leave me, Alan.
And now you're coming with me, Elizabeth.
No.
You're mine.
No.
All mine.
No. Let me go. I'm dead. Don't you understand, Alan?
For me, you're alive! Alive! Alive!
Dead. No. I'm dead.
No, alive! Alive! Must be working. No need to worry. I'm on the wager. You hear that? I'm still alive. You'll never get me now. All's well that ends well. He's waiting there at the gate. Alan! What the devil?
No one has ever been successful on this particular night. Unfortunately, you lost the wager, my boy. I'll arrange to have him buried in the grounds. And you, Mr. Poe, are the real winner.
Yes. Yes. But when I write the story, no one will believe it. It's always the same. He has probably discovered the truth in eternal darkness.
Would you stay for me, Anna?
Yes, Elizabeth.
Great movie, eh, my fiends? We haven't let you down yet, have we? No. We try to find so many wonderful, musty old films that have creepy and mysterious and spooky and sometimes horrifying, sometimes a little gross, but most of the time very, very supernatural tales within it. Right, Boris? We do try. And well, we've been decorating so much. We've got, found all our jack-o'-lanterns, and we've got, you know, the webs up, and I've got to get a little bit more dust. Of course, a few friends always helps us out. My zombie fellow here, he doesn't move a lot, but he's a lot of good company, you know. He can reach the spots that I can't quite get to later on once he has his rejuvenation fluid, as it was. Well, my fiends, it's getting that time. You've got to go, and I've got to get outside and start, well, I've got to start carving those pumpkins and other things so that we can have it for Halloween. It's not too far away. It's so much to do, so little time, right? Well, until next time, as always, keep screaming. I think I need to put a little edge on this, Boris. What do you think? You need to get the old grinder out and sharpen it up.